Well, how about I introduce you, right? Okay.
That sounds kind of dangerous, really. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the last time we didn't introduce ourselves, we thought we were already famous. That was so, okay. That's a kind of bonnet.
No, we didn't think we were famous. We just never did a podcast. We weren't smart enough to do it right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is Tony Anderson. Tony and I are co-hosting this real estate pilot podcast.
Smoke signals.
Smoke signals.
Real estate smoke signals.
Okay, so it's I don't know why you're partnering with me, but anyway, and I'm the guy that forgets everything else he tells me to do it. But anyway, he is a local broker here in the state of Florida. He's got a brokerage called NextHome Realty and pretty successful at it. So that's what who Tony is. I don't dare to have you introduce me. I'm just a guy.
Well, you botched mine, so let me botch yours.
Okay, go ahead.
Abe Musa, owner of Blue Brick Title.
That's right, Blue Brick Title.
And
I'm just gonna say, I'm your nemesis, but it's fine. Okay.
Prior to Blue Brick Title, your history includes owning and operating an extremely successful title company.
That's true.
Dare I say, the best title company in Tampa Bay, hands down.
At one point, yes.
It definitely was. And then you made the foolish decision to sell that business and get out. But you have, fortunately for us that are out selling real estate, you have re-entered the business, and we couldn't be happier, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know. I give a great introduction.
Yes, thank you.
You on the other hand, no, work on it.
I mean, you're Tony.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So, and over the course of the years, I mean, we've become good friends. We started as it's a business relationship, and then
a phone call.
And then we just over the years.
Actually, ironically, that phone call was about a condo that nobody wanted to show me, and and we're talking about a condo here.
We explained how we met the first. We just introduced. We didn't follow up properly. Okay. All right. So we've done that. So what we want to talk about in this is very topical, and that is what's happening in the Tampa Bay condo market. And I had a client call me just a couple of days ago. They're out of state. They own property here, but they live primarily out of state. And at this point in time, there's still a lot of people don't know exactly all the turmoil we're going through in the condo market. And they were asking me, all the stuff that we're reading, what in the world is going on down there with the condo market? So we have a lot of things that are affecting the condo market, and not just, I want to talk about the things that are happening in the Florida condo market specifically.
Yes.
So not things across the country. This is all about a local. And, it's the normal things with interest rates and different things like that are affecting real estate in general. However, we have things here specifically in Tampa Bay and the Florida market.
It's true, because it was law driven.
Yes.
It's by law driven, so thus it makes it a little bit different than another state market.
Exactly. So we have the state laws that were changed, and the biggie was the law that was put in place a couple of years ago as a result of the Surfside collapse, Florida collapse of that building, and nearly 100 people died. It was horrible. What that building was, the structure underneath the building was not safe and was deteriorating, and it gave way and the building collapsed. So laws were put in place to check the structural integrity of these buildings. Those buildings were those that are 3 stories and higher, 30 years old and over. All those buildings that contain those type of units had to go through 2 different studies. One was a milestone report where they checked the physical structure of the building to make sure it was sound.
Okay, can we just pause for 1 second? The collapse of that condominium tower is simply neglect of, first of all, it's bad construction. Second is neglect of repairs and maintenance.
Or both.
Okay.
Right.
No, both. It started with both, right? Yeah. So that's where that state law came in and says, okay, all right, we can't trust you anymore. We're going to force you inspecting your building, repair them, because we can't have that stuff again. And the reason for all the years that they put together, I have to give it to the state of Florida in the construction code in the state of Florida. Every time there's a catastrophe or a natural disaster or a hurricane or something that goes off the rail, we improve our building code day in, day out. So it's been remarkably great, even though people complain about how hard the construction code is or permitting process, but it's been absolutely delight to work with stringent code, if I understand. Yeah. So,
It's podcast outside.
oh, yeah,
Uh,
we are doing that outside.
yeah. No, that's very true. And people do bitch and complain about all the things, the hoops they got to jump through, but at the same time, like you said, we made it safer. So, like I said, they had to go through that physical inspection to ensure that the buildings were sound, and those inspections had to be done by either an architect or an engineer. And the second thing they had to do was go through a structural integrity reserve study. We acronym it SEERS. But what that established was condo communities had to have reserves, not only for things that they always have reserves for, painting buildings, redoing parking lots, roofs, maintaining the swimming pools, and things of that nature. But now they had to have a structural integrity reserve, which nobody had. And as a result of that, everyone started getting assessments in order to establish that.
Yeah.
And secondly, to make repairs that were required from the milestone inspection. So everyone started getting assessments, and their monthly maintenance fees in condos started going up, in some cases dramatically. And
They could read that, right? Like, can we explain it in a better term? That, like, what is construction integrity means?
well, that means that it's. I mean, I'm not an engineer, but it's sound. It's not going to fall down.
Yes.
Chances are that it's.
I mean, in reality, though, honestly, most of these reserve that were supposed that they're forcing you to do now was always supposed to be part of it from the first place. Like, they so basically, all we did, we took the laws, we put it back in place, we package it into a new package, and we'll put a bow on it. Says, "Oh, okay, you should do what you always should have done."
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Okay.
Because at the same time, the structural integrity reserves, the actual reserves, just like you have for every other component. And if you look at condo documents, they actually have budgets for each of those things.
Yes.
There was never something for structural issues. I mean, yes, from a standpoint of you're supposed to be maintaining the entire property, that makes sense. But there was nothing specifically attributed to that. So,
All right.
for the sake of
I'll do that later.
time, let's move on. We're just explaining how we kind of got here. Additionally, insurance has been an issue. Insurance costs have, I mean, they've skyrocketed. They've skyrocketed in general, but they've skyrocketed a lot for condominiums. And that's created another part of the problem there, right? Fair enough?
Not fair. Not fair at all, actually. We could say that insurance is a problem in the state of Florida, right? We could say that. But to say it's too expensive is to say that your property is not what it should be valued at, right? That's what we're saying.
Well, I didn't say it was too expensive. I've said the cost has skyrocketed.
Well, it is, but so is your value, the property value, right? It's a total correlation to that. We're misunderstanding what an insurance is. It's supposed to recover repair or replacement, right? Repairs or replacement, post COVID, had been extremely expensive from raw material, from labor costs, from all that stuff. So it's not like they just all of a sudden overnight decide to be greedy and now going to just raise our insurance costs, right? It's not like the same thing with automobile insurance.
Okay, but it got to the point where insurance companies were failing, leaving the state.
Yeah.
The state had to develop its own insurance company, Citizens Insurance.
Yes.
So the state got into the business in order to provide insurance for people. Now, as of late, I would say the past year or so, we've had at least 10 new insurance companies enter the state.
Mm-hmm.
So that is helping from the standpoint of having a choice of providers. What it hasn't yet done is provided any relief in the premium.
Is there relief on property value?
In condos, absolutely.
Okay, condos maybe as a unit, but right now, okay, so this is what we're talking about. The condo market right now is a bit unsafe, right?
Yeah.
It is, I would have to say, misnomer because, the scare tactic or what the news is talking about that, oh my God, every condo in Florida is falling apart. It's not really quite true. It's not, okay? A lot of those were built beautifully. They're made, some of them may be ugly, but they're not really all like going to fall apart and 90 or nearly 100 people will die. That's not the case, right?
No, but
So
as recently as what was this? Within the past couple of months, we had a building in Clearwater Beach
yeah,
that was evacuated because they had similar symptoms as the Surfside building did.
yes,
There were cracks in the underbuilding parking garage, and there was water seepage, and I don't know what else they found, but it was enough that the fire department evacuated the building with no notice. People, they were knocking on doors saying, "Get out right now." People got out with basically what they were wearing and so their pets and nothing else, and they didn't get back in their homes for I think nearly a week.
but that drives up premium because that insurance have to pay for your replacement, for your rent, of course,
No,
right?
it all makes sense. It all makes sense.
Yeah,
But again, we're talking about the state of the condo market,
yeah,
right?
yes,
Now,
yes.
let's talk about it from a you said, okay, well, is there price relief? As if there wasn't. There is. Okay, condo prices are going down. Okay, now it's not the same as the single family home market. Very different.
Yes.
Aren't going down despite what the press says, but in the condo market they are. We measure condo sales or any type of property sales. We'll measure how healthy it is by an absorption rate. Absorption rate means of the units that are on the market, how many of them are selling in a given month.
Okay, the average Joe will understand it as supply and demand. There's more supply than demand. And that absorption rate that your real estate uses. I mean, we don't understand that.
Well, I'll explain it very simple, so maybe even you can.
I really did. Supply and demand. I mean, what?
Well, from a statistic standpoint,
Finally, I can go ahead.
the absorption rate,
See, that's English smoke, like a French man.
unfortunately, the statistic that we get combine condos and townhomes, which are two totally different types of properties, but they combine that statistic.
Okay, that's right.
Separate from single family homes. But that's the only thing I have to work from, but it still illustrates the point.
But a townhome, technically, is single family home.
No, it's not. It's a townhouse. It's a different category.
That's not.
But stick with me here because we can't go on all day.
Oh,
So
you asked me to come.
I'm not. No.
Angry.
So condos and townhomes, the absorption rate over the past year to year and a half has been in I would say the 9 to 14% range. What that means is of 100 units that are on the market today, about a dozen of them will sell in a given month. That's horrible. Back in COVID, when the market went crazy, the absorption rate was over 200%.
Okay.
Meaning they sold as soon as they were on the market. Absorption rate exceeded.
Wow. So what are you saying? There's a lot more demand than supplies. I mean, I rest my case.
Yes, but statistically, it illustrates just how bad it's went from 200 plus percentage a couple years ago to about maybe 12%. Okay, 10 to 12% on average. So
hold on. This is why I don't really, honest to God, agree. Okay, that the condo prices are coming down. They're not coming down. They're being sold. Some of them, or most of them, are being sold fairly because in that period of time, a lot of people overpaid for these places, and I believe that it's just the market is leveling out. I don't think it's a fair characterization that the market has fallen out of control. It's just as premium.
Okay, a little bit is falling out of control. That's what the press writes.
Yes.
What I'm telling you is the prices are actually going down.
Yes.
You have
higher.
Of course.
Yes.
What am I supposed to measure from? Below? I'm measuring it from the most recent past where it was higher, and it has gone down. Supply is up, inventory is up, days on market's up, and like I said, that absorption rate's very low. So yes, the prices have come down in condos. All right,
from the